if you understand what a rotor looks like, it's a plate that the brake pads push on to stop the vehicle. Some of them have run down so far that surface is gone. It's down to the fins.
Oh, come on.
That hold the sides of the metal in.
Really?
Yes.
Bob Carr here with another episode of the Bob Carr Show. In the studio today is an old friend, Ronnie Robeson. Ronnie, pleasure to have you here today, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
I want to talk to you about how we met, and it was through a lady named Mary Begore. She lived behind Mr. Arnold. Yeah. And did you or your parents, who knew Dick? How did all that go together back then?
My parents knew the Arnolds, became friends that way. You met Dick Arnold through Mary Begore. Obviously, you took care of her yard, and Mr. Arnold was a yard fanatic.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He took care of that. Yeah, it wasn't a blade unturned, was it?
Nope. And I can tell you another story just as we're talking. I delivered the Washington Post for tons of years, probably 12 years or so.
Oh, did you?
And Mr. Arnold was on my route. And that was the one yard you knew you did not walk across the grass. You either used the stepping stones or you used the driveway. And he would greet me no matter what time, if it was 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., as I was walking up to drop the paper on the front porch. He'd open the door and say, "Good morning, sir."
Did he?
Yep.
Wow.
Just about every single morning.
So, Ronnie, tell me your day-to-day over at Westside. So, knuckleheads like us come over. All of a sudden, we got lights on the dash. Hey, the front end's jumping around here on my truck, and I got a bunch of lights flashing on my dash. How do you take care of all that and keep your sanity?
Basically, we get it in as quick as we can. Guys run through it. They see what they can find for the issues, and then we kind of take the trucks based on age and that kind of stuff. What's the best route to take for this truck? Get it back on the road so you guys can keep on working.
So, what's the commonalities with all us fleet guys? I mean, I know you told me off the record sometimes some of the crazy stuff, and it's always the same. The guys wait to the last minute, bring it over.
Oh, yeah. That's with the fleets. It is because it's not their personal vehicle. So as a fleet owner, you're doing a lot of repairs that they go a little bit further than they should.
It could have been prevented.
Correct. Brakes are a big thing because a lot of times as soon as they hear the grind, they're like, "Hey, brakes are making noise." Well, had they known a little earlier, it would have saved some of the parts. But, that's the other thing. When we get your trucks in, we're trying to look at them, one end to the other, even if they're just an oil change, because if those brakes are getting low, we can save you the rotors.
So tell us a funny story about fixing something in a fleet. Give us something over the last 20 years you've seen where it's been really sticks out in your mind.
I mean, the easiest thing is brakes. Everybody waits until they're making noise. And, there's times we've got some of them in, and if you understand what a rotor looks like, it's a plate that the brake pads push on to stop the vehicle. Some of them have run down so far that surface is gone. It's down to the fins.
Oh, come on.
That hold the sides of the metal in.
Really?
Yes. We've seen those. And you're like, man, it's been making noise a while. And as a fleet owner, or a business owner, I'm sure you heard, it wasn't making that noise yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And the other ones, obviously, we'll get one or two towed in, and it doesn't happen often. And, hey, the motor won't start. It won't even turn over. Well, there's no oil in it. And then the guy said, "Well, I just put a quart in."
Yeah, I just checked it yesterday.
Right.
So give us some tips. Give us some tips here with everything going crazy with the fuel and everything. Give us some tips. I hear people tell me all the time, make sure you got air in your tires.
Right. And, so, make sure the guys aren't hard on the trucks, or girls. They're driving them normal. Gas prices are making it more difficult for everybody. And, if things are maintained, it's going to run better, obviously.
Have you seen anything recently that when people are bringing in for repairs that they're either want to spend more money on this or less money on that?
Not yet. Okay. Not yet. But that, like everything else, it cycles. And that'll become a thing at some point where what'll happen is it'll slow things down. People are like, all right, well,
I'm not going on vacation, so I might not do that tune-up or whatever.
I'm not going to drive as much because it's cost more money now. So it just kind of slows everything down.
Ronnie, I appreciate you coming in today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And we'll have you on here sometime this summer again with some more tips. And again, thanks for tuning in to the Bob Carr Show. And we'll see you next week for another episode of the Bob Carr Show. Thanks for watching this episode of the Bob Carr Show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below. And we'll see you next week with a new episode of the Bob Carr Show. Talk to you soon.